probing Hadi Awang over statement on Pardons Board. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the government will implement a single window initiative to strengthen and facilitate collaboration between the industry and agencies in the startup ecosystem. The initiative was also to increase the involvement and boost the performance of local industry players in line with the government's target of creating 5,000 startup companies by 2025. In a statement on Monday, Datuk Seri Anwar said Malaysia intends to be among the top 20 countries in the global startup ecosystem by 2030, with Kuala Lumpur developed as a regional startup and digital hub. To date, there are at least 14 agencies involved in the startup ecosystem, covering aspects of financing, product development, marketing and expertise. Datuk Seri Anwar said this after chairing the first meeting of the Council for Digital Economy and National Fourth Industrial Revolution for 2023 in Putrajaya. The Prime Minister further said that the Council also agreed to speed up the implementation of the National Digital Identity Development Project (IDN) under the National Registration Department. He added the IDN, when completed later, will act as a reliable digital identity platform for the verification of individual information when obtaining services from service providers. The implementation of the IDN is one of the initiatives under the Public Sector Digital Transformation Core in Malaysia's digital economy blueprint, in line with the Madani economy's desire to elevate the country as an Asian economic leader and improve the well-being of the people. The Sultan of Selangor has ordered the immediate establishment of a special committee to conduct an in-depth and critical study on the competency of state legislative assemblies to enact Islamic laws and the jurisdiction of Sharia courts. Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah said this was due to the large number of cases under the jurisdiction of Sharia courts being challenged at the federal court. Sultan Sharifuddin, who was also the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs (MKI) chairman, said the trend showed the position of state enactments relating to Sharia criminal offences was being increasingly challenged, thus affecting the jurisdiction of the Sharia courts in the states to adjudicate on them. The Selangor ruler said this at MKI's 70th meeting at the Sultan Salahuddin Abdulaziz Shah Mosque in Shah Alam on Monday. Sultan Sharifuddin also was of the opinion that it can only be resolved by taking legislative action through specific amendments to the relevant laws to grant the state legislative assemblies broader powers in formulating provisions related to Sharia criminal offences for Muslims. The Sultan also stated that the special committee should propose amendments to the relevant laws, including provisions in the federal constitution, to create comprehensive solutions to these issues. On the issue on the usage of the word Allah by non-Muslims, Sultan Sharifuddin said all decisions reached by the MKI will be presented at the Conference of Rulers' upcoming meeting and a policy on the matter will be finalised. Sultan Sharifuddin also called on states that have not joined the MKI to respond to the invitation and officially become members of the Council's Musyawarah or deliberation platform. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar assured that the unity government will continue to strengthen the management of Islamic affairs in Malaysia to ensure it is inclusive for both the benefit of both Muslims and non-Muslims. The Prime Minister said this was in line with the government's commitment to ensure that the governance of Islamic affairs is properly implemented as desired by the Conference of Rulers. In a Facebook posting on Monday, Datuk Seri Anwar said he was confident that with the consent and blessing of the rulers, efforts to strengthen the institution of Islamic affairs management at the federal and state levels can be carried out in an integrated and effective manner. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also MKI Deputy Chairman, added that the Council's meeting clearly conveyed the concern of the Sultan of Selangor towards the management of Islamic affairs in the country. Aside from this, he also expressed his appreciation to MKI members and representatives of states for attending the meeting. Police have summoned past President Tan Sri Abdul Hadi Awang to give his statement over his speech in Johor 2 days ago, which allegedly touched on the issues of race, religion and royalty, or 3R issues. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department CID Director Datuk Sri Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain on Monday confirmed that authorities have opened investigation papers on the matter. Datuk Sri Muhammad Shuhaili said Tan Sri Abdul Hadi was being investigated for allegedly questioning the authority of the Pardons Board, which is linked to the royal institution.
Sebab apa kita membuka kekasiatan, pihak Tuan pun sedia maklum berkaitan dengan kenyataan beliau pada 26 Ogos yang lalu semasa ceramah perdana Perikatan Nasional Johor di Markas PAS kawasan Bagri Muar. dan kita telah pun menghubungi Presiden PAS tersebut.
He added that the case was being investigated under Section 4(1) of the Sedition Act and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act. Datuk Sri Muhammad Shuhaili also called on all quarters to refrain from speculating on the case. He also reminded all political leaders and members of the public to refrain from bringing up any 3R-related issues during the campaign period for the Pulai and Simpang Jeram by-elections. It was reported earlier that the Marang MP had claimed in the ceramah on Saturday that the country's process of pardoning a criminal was not in line with Islamic teachings. His political secretary, Shahir Sulaiman, later in a Facebook posting, confirmed that Bukit Aman had contacted Tan Sri Abdul Hadi on Monday morning and the Islamist party leader was ready to cooperate with the police in the probe. Fahmi Fadil has called for a meeting between the National Film Development Corporation, My Creative Ventures and the Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, to discuss social security for those working in the creative industry. The Communications and Digital Minister said pension is among the key issues that needs to be discussed by stakeholders, adding that a thorough discussion is important to ensure the sustainability of the country's creative industry.
InsyaAllah, mungkin package yang lebih rahmah, ya, kerana kita tahu dia ada melibatkan sedikit kos. Tapi saya difahamkan jumlahnya mungkin tidak terlalu besar, tapi manfaatnya lebih banyak. Jadi ini yang kita sedang bincangkan.
According to Fahmi, the idea to form a partnership with SOCSO came after a previous discussion with the agency concluded that many in the creative industry do not enjoy social security, with several aspects of social security needing special attention, including the issue of invalidity pension and death benefits. He stressed the need to take care of the welfare of not only those involved in the creative industry such as film and music, but also journalists and stringers working on a freelance basis. He was met after the handover ceremony of the Digital Content Grant Offer Letters for 2023 and the launch of the Film Community Fund in Putrajaya on Monday. A 6-year-old boy was killed in a fire that destroyed 5 double-storey houses at the People's Housing Scheme at Batukawa in Kuching on Monday. In the incident, which happened around noon, the boy was believed to have been trapped on the first floor of one of the houses. According to the Sarawak Fire and Rescue Services Department, the charred remains of 6-year-old Zayan Nazim Zainal Abidin was found in one of the rooms on the top floor when the firemen doused off the fire at about 3:33 p.m. The victim's body has since been handed over to the police for further action. A spokesman for the department's operations centre said an emergency call was received about the incident at about 1:20 p.m. A total of 18 personnel along with 2 fire trucks from the Batu Lintang and Padungan fire and rescue stations rushed to the scene and managed to prevent the fire from spreading further. A total of 5 houses were affected in the incident, with 4 of the houses completely destroyed, while the 5th house suffered 20% damage. The cause of the fire and total losses is still being investigated. In Johor, 3 Singaporean women were killed after the multi-purpose vehicle they were travelling in crashed into a lorry at Ladang Cenas, Bandar Tenggara, near Kota Tinggi. The victims, aged between 56 and 61, were declared dead at the scene. Bandar Tenggara Fire Station Operations Commander Muhammad Nurul Fazuddin Shafi'i said firemen were immediately dispatched to the scene after receiving a report on the incident at 1:52 p.m. Upon arrival, checks revealed that the accident involved a Honda Freed MPV with a roll-on roll-off lorry, otherwise known as a Roro lorry. The 3 Singaporean passengers of the MPV were identified as 56-year-old Toh Po Kian, as well as Sun Mo Tan and Wong Lan Yu, both aged 61. However, both the 59-year-old driver of the MPV, who was also Singaporean, and the 49-year-old driver of the Roro lorry escaped unharmed. In the United Kingdom, the 66th National Day celebration was held hand-in-hand with the promotion of Malaysian cuisine and culture at a special event in Hertford on Saturday. The Malaysia Merdeka Carnival showcased a variety of popular dishes and the vibrancy of Malaysian culture, which received a huge reception from the local community. The annual Merdeka Carnival, held at the Tun Abdul Razak Research Centre in Brackendenbury, was organised by the High Commission of Malaysia in London. Thousands of visitors came to indulge in authentic Malaysian food at the carnival, which featured over 40 stalls.
Selamat kita menganjurkan karnival ini bukan sahaja untuk memberi peluang kepada rakyat Malaysia United Kingdom untuk berkumpul dan bersua serta bertemu rakan-rakan lama dan membeli belah, tetapi juga untuk memperkenalkan budaya dan keunikan Malaysia kepada masyarakat tempatan.
The visitors also enjoyed various cultural performances as well as silat demonstrations and sports activities. The carnival also served as a platform to introduce Malaysian products and services such as banking, tourism and charity organisations.
I'm today at the Malaysian Carnival to promote palm oil and cooking with palm oil because I use palm oil in all of my cooking as well as using the recipes from my grandmother and my mom.
Kami mengambil kesempatan untuk mempromosikan program yang kami anjurkan setiap tahun iaitu fokus kepada pelajar universiti di UK dan Eropah mengenai kesihatan mental.
It's really great being here with all the Malaysians and all the different people from different backgrounds. It's really muhiba, as they say in Malay.
Yes, and I think we want to raise our child to know both his cultures. So my husband is German and I'm Malaysian, but we are clearly in London. So we just want him to feel a bit of what the Merdeka spirit is today.
4 years have passed since the law governing migrant worker accommodation was amended to improve their living conditions. But are employers honouring their legal obligations? FMT's Natasha Bust finds out.
This is Malaysia. This is also Malaysia. For many migrant workers, this is what they return to after a long day at work. But we have laws to govern workers' housing standards. So why is this still happening? Former Human Resources Minister M. Kulasegaran blames it on a lack of enforcement by authorities.
In the Human Resource Ministry, there's an acute shortage of enforcement officers. This has been a perennial problem for a long time. I've informed JPA, I've informed the ministry when I was there itself, and it's still going on.
To make matters worse, Kula says many migrant workers are unaware of their rights. He says these workers are entitled to some form of help in ensuring that their employers honor their legal obligations.
What I'm going to say is not a popular thing. In all these organizations, they have a strong trade union. There'll be check and balance.
But is there a workaround to the shortage of boots on the ground? Adrian Pereira from North-South Initiative says local councils and embassies should step in and help monitor the situation. He also wants labour inspectors to work more closely with the various regulatory bodies.
So, for example, if it's in the plantations, there's the ministry that is in charge of plantation should assist in conducting these inspections of the housing.
In the short term, that will help improve the living conditions of our migrant workers. Natasha Bust, FMT for Nightline.
Pakistan's Imran Khan dismissed from sedition charges. News from the foreign front when Nightline returns. President Joko Widodo on Monday launched the first elevated rail line for Greater Jakarta, hailing the $2.13 billion project as a step towards easing the capital's chronic road congestion and worsening air pollution. The driverless 41.2-kilometre light rail transit LRT system connects central Jakarta and its satellite cities in West Java, Bekasi and Depok. Finance Minister Sri Mulyan said they are expecting more people to start opting for means of mass transportation facilities, thereby reducing the use of private cars and improving the air quality in Jabodetabek. She expressed optimism that the existence of the LRT would boost inter-regional connectivity among communities. Jakarta has been ranked among the world's most polluted cities since May, and earlier this month topped the charts compiled by Swiss air quality technology company IQ Air. Jokowi blamed the pollution on excessive road traffic and industries using coal. A Pakistani court on Monday quashed a sedition case against former Prime Minister Imran Khan, a relief for the embattled leader whose appeal against conviction in a separate corruption case will be decided by a high court on Tuesday. Previously, the 70-year-old had been charged in March with the sedition case registered in the southwestern city of Quetta based on an allegation that one of his speeches was seditious. Following an appeal by Khan, the High Court said prosecutors had failed to obtain the required consent from the federal and provincial government to lodge sedition charges. The court ruled that the charges are without lawful authority and are of no legal effect, directing authorities to quash the case. Aside from the graft and sedition cases, Khan is also facing charges ranging from terrorism and encouraging assaults on state institutions after his supporters attacked military and government installations in May, as well as abetment to murder following the slaying of a Supreme Court lawyer in June.
I have absolutely no doubt that the military courts.
At least 23 people were killed on Sunday in heavy combat between the Yemeni government troops and Houthis in the southern province of Laj after the government criticized the militia for rejecting peace efforts to end the war. At least 10 others were injured in the fighting. A spokesman for pro-independent southern forces that control Yafai, Muhammad al-Nakib, described the Houthi attacks on Yafai as the militia's biggest and bloodiest attack in recent months. He added that their forces were able to repel the Houthis, forcing them to retreat after suffering heavy casualties. Since early last year, when the UN-brokered truce came into force, hostilities have drastically decreased. However, Yemeni government officials say that the Houthis have continued their fatal attacks on residential neighborhoods and military targets in Laj, Marib and Taiz. France's education minister on Sunday said authorities are to ban the wearing of abaya dresses in schools, arguing that the government violated France's strict secular laws in education. Gabriel Attal said it will no longer be possible to wear an abaya at school, and clear rules would be given at the national level to school heads ahead of the return to classes nationwide from September 4th. The move comes after months of debate over the wearing of abayas in French schools, where women have long been banned from wearing the Islamic headscarf. The right and far right had pushed for the ban, which the left argued would encroach on civil liberties. China on Monday warned several provinces to expect torrential rain and flash floods over the next 2 days as unrelenting downpours wreak havoc on the community. It was reported that more than 3,000 people were evacuated in northwestern Hunan province over the weekend as heavy rain was unleashed on Shaanxi, Ximen and Yongshun counties and Zhangjiajie city. According to officials, Shaanxi recorded the heaviest rainfall this year, with maximum precipitation reaching 256 millimeters overnight from Saturday to Sunday, the most extensive and widespread rain in the country since 1998. China's government has also called for more precautions against flooding as Typhoon Saola now makes its way across the South China Sea, with forecasts expecting it to land at Guangdong province as early as this Friday. scored twice in his first league appearance in front of a home crowd to steer champions Bayern Munich to a 3-1 victory over Augsburg. An own goal from Augsburg's Felix Uduokai gave Bayern the lead in the 32nd minute before Kane doubled the advantage 8 minutes later when he converted a penalty after Nicholas Dorsch handled the ball in the box. The England skipper then scored his second in the 69th minute, following the accurate pass by Alphonso Davies, putting the game to bed. The visitors managed to grab a late consolation through Dion Beljo with 4 minutes remaining. With the win, Bayern stood in second with 6 points, only separated by goal difference with leaders Union Berlin. The Brazilian Serie A now, a Luis Suarez-inspired Grêmio eased to a 3-0 victory over mid-table Cruzeiro at the Arena do Grêmio in Porto Alegre. Grêmio opened the scoring after 29 minutes when Luis Suarez punished off poor play from Cruzeiro's defenders. The visitors doubled the advantage 9 minutes into the second half through Felipe Carvalho's curling effort with Suarez the provider. Suarez was also involved in Grêmio's third goal 12 minutes from time. A fine team move gave Pepe space to go past 2 defenders before slotting the ball past Cruzeiro goalkeeper Rafael Cabral from close range, giving his side a 3-0 victory. More after the break, 9 arrested over death of toddler. Don't go away. Home news. In Pulau Pinang, a total of 9 individuals have been arrested in connection with the death of a 1-year-old boy believed to have been abused. The suspects, 4 males and 5 females, will be remanded for 3 to 7 days to assist police in their investigations. Seberang Perai Tengah District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Tan Cheng Sun said police received information at about 7 p.m. on Saturday from the Seberang Jaya Hospital saying that a child who had been brought in with suspected abuse marks was dead. Investigations by police revealed that the child was brought into the hospital by a man in his 30s who is a suspect in the case. The man had told paramedics that the boy had fainted and needed treatment before leaving the hospital. Police then detained 9 individuals between the ages of 16 and 48 in various parts of Seberang Perai to assist assist in investigations. One of the suspects detained had 5 previous records for various criminal offences. Police have not ruled out the possibility that more suspects may be apprehended in the case. The case is being probed under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. Another man was charged in the Petaling Jaya Sessions Court with causing death by negligence of an Indian national whose body was found stuffed in a sack. The 43-year-old accused S. Dorai Raj pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to him before Judge Faiz Ziauddin. According to the charge sheet, the lorry driver, together with 3 other men, allegedly caused the death of a 41-year-old A. Vinayaga Murthy. The offence was allegedly committed at a scrap metal yard in Taman Bukit, Serdang, Sri Kembangan at 1:30 p.m. on August 4th. Dorai Raj, if convicted under the Penal Code, faces up to 30 years in prison and a fine. The court allowed the accused bail of 10,000 ringgit with 1 shorty and ordered him to report to the nearest police station once a month until disposal of the case. The judge also fixed September 19th for case remention. The Perlis Customs Department has foiled an attempt to smuggle in 150 kilograms of compressed ganja, estimated to be worth nearly 645,000 ringgit. Its director, Ismail Hashim, said the drugs were discovered inside a fibre boat without any registration number, which had been left moored near a fisherman jetty in Kampung Bahagia, Kuala Perlis. According to Ismail, in the 7:30 a.m. operation on August 16th, the department's marine unit found 7 boxes containing 150 blocks of ganja, which had been covered with a black plastic sheet and hidden in a special compartment inside the boat. It was believed that a man had used the boat earlier to smuggle in the drugs before abandoning the vessel to escape upon receiving a tip-off from Tontos, who were keeping track of the authorities' movements.
Memang ada kita mengekori sampan berkenaan tanpa kita nak menunjukkan terus kita buat serbuan sebab kita tak pasti sebenarnya, tapi keadaan sampan tersebut mencurigakan dan bila kita datang sampan tu telah ditambatlah di jeti dan kita memerhatikan dalam tempoh 30 minit lah sebelum kita buat pemeriksaan lanjut lah.
It was believed that the drugs were obtained from different syndicates to be distributed in the northern states and enough to cater for around 750,000 addicts. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Well, that's it from us at Nightline. Let's take a look at an ancient complex inside the old city of Jerusalem, Dar al-Consul, being revived, transforming into a cultural centre after a few years of renovation. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and have a fruitful week ahead.